Okay, good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, July 15th, 2014 Petaluma Community Access Board of Directors meeting. And would the secretary please call the roll?
Cindy Thomas.
Here.
Kathy Rivas.
Here.
Neil Fishman.
Here.
Marcia Trent here. Matt Pearson.
Here.
Rachel Moran. Tim Williamson.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Yay! Okay, nobody's here for public comment tonight. Are there any comments or announcements from our board directors tonight?
I had one. A former board director of PCA has just published a book.
Nice.
Pass these
Oh,
around.
bookmarks.
Marcel.
Yeah, Marcel.
How'd I know?
Yeah. I read it. It's very impressive.
I saw your review.
You saw the review?
I saw your review, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I've got a copy. We can loan it around, but you could also, I'm sure.
Well-deserved retirement and writing career for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Okay. I see Kathy got the blue memo tonight. I don't know what happened with you guys, but Kathy and I got it. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Is there anything that we need to modify on this? Except we're gonna have a fairly short meeting. Nice. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And a second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Everybody's got the minutes for the June 17th meeting that Marcia sent out earlier in the week, I hope. Everybody's read them. Any modifications to that? Corrections? I think they look good. Thank you, Marcia. Do we have a motion to approve them?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody want to abstain? Okay. One abstention. Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, well, we had a meeting the other day on the budget. The first thing to say is we really look good coming into the new fiscal year. It's, knowing John all these years, I hardly call him a conservative, but when it comes to the budget, he's pretty darn conservative. So we come into the new fiscal year with about $60,000 in our capital fund, although we're still trying to get that correct. I guess that is the correct number.
Standing number.
And about the same amount in a reserve fund, and that's basically due to conservative budgeting and some staff vacancies and things along those lines. But really, the budget looks very, very strong coming into the new year, and he's not really asking for much more money for the coming year. Is there any more money, or is it about the same? There's a few shifts of minor amounts here and there. He's taking a little bit of money out of the board and putting it into the staff for staff development instead of board development.
Do you want to hold till we go to the finance report?
Oh, that's the finance report?
Yeah, before we get to the, but now just the actual.
Yeah, budget's under new
You're
business.
gonna spend
but-
off the whole agenda.
Oh my God, well, we're done.
Boy, it takes a couple
Okay.
meetings off and
It all works into, it all works.
It all works
into the,
together, but
finances,
Anyway,
but we'll slice and dice
things
the
look
budget.
fine on the spreadsheets. We have a surplus and we're not overspending in any particular categories and everything looks good. Any questions?
No mistakes this month, good.
Yeah.
what was your name again?
Je m'appelle.
Oh crap, the wrong guy. I'm at the wrong place.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
any questions that we need to take care of now? We're getting into the budget and under new business. Okay, all right, or you get the spotlight again. Yeah, there you go, all right.
committee
I've
report.
been waiting for that for months.
You need to show up for a meeting.
I know.
Okay, 2 digs on.
I'm just saying, I'm waiting for the third. You gotta have it, I missed 2 meetings, I
We got
gotta have a
ours in, you
third.
guys,
Yeah,
you
we
guys
each
are
get
next.
3.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, no items under the, oops, sorry. Almost forgot the executive director's report.
Yes, and I wanted to take
Thank you,
advantage of
Neil.
this moment
John's
to
turn.
introduce you all to Tony Ruiz, our
Hi,
new
Tony.
outreach coordinator.
It's a pleasure to meet you
So
all.
you have Neil, Cindy, Tim, Kathy, Marcia, and Matt.
Need to tell the camera operator to pan the camera over there.
The audience needs to see Tony.
great to have you on board.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you've taken a look at the website, you can see that Tony's here. He's already
Good.
made his mark. And,
Tony should photobomb the camera.
He's got great ideas, and he's got a mission to get us more members.
Excellent.
Okay. Was that your entire report?
No, let's see, next item is we have, we no longer have Zach.
Yeah.
This is our first day of the post-Zach reality at PCA. I'm excited for him. I can't wait to hear what his first day was like. And he won't be abandoning us. He's probably gonna give us 5 or 6 hours a week, at least for 3 months, and he'll never let the city down. PCA was his way of helping
Because we know
Petaluma.
where he lives.
Pardon? And we have a departure dinner for him tomorrow night. Unfortunately, the plan came together very fast. I'm sorry that it wasn't more amenable to your schedules. But Rachel is still trying to work out a deal. We've got a table for 10. I think we're up to about 8 though. So who all is coming tomorrow? No?
I
No, that's
can't.
right. No. Tim? No. So, 2 board members and Rachel. 3 board members. I
Well,
guess
we
Thomas.
can't have more, we don't want a quorum.
Yeah, that's true. And Thomas, I don't think can make it. So we have one more financial review in our agreement with the city. Gonna start the process. Actually, the process starts in August because they want all the financials for July as well, at the close of the year. So taxes and the financial review will start. Next year, we've got a full audit and a renegotiated contract. Our contract is up in November of 15. Got a call the other day, really kind of excited, and I got a meeting tomorrow. Cotati City Hall called us up and wanted to talk to us about covering their meetings. And they got our name from Novato. They called up Novato for some advice, and Novato recommended us. So I'm gonna meet with Tammy tomorrow at 8, and we'll see where we go from there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a much easier operation if we're talking snow mechanic, Cotati, and gotta check on how many meetings they have and all the details, what kind of camera work they've got. And we had a major piece of equipment drop out of City Hall. It's been repaired and just returned. You all saw it as you walked in probably. Thomas is gonna go install it tomorrow. It should be straightforward, find the right plugs, put them on the right place. But I'll be talking to Zach tomorrow. He said he'd stop in and tell me how it went, and if we need any backup, we'll get him in there on Thursday. No more meetings this week, so we've got a period to install and test, and it should be back and running on Monday. And Tim brought up an issue around this, that our equipment in City Hall is about 7 years old, if not older, and the warranties are out, and we might want to proactively prepare for better equipment rather than wait for a crisis in the middle of a meeting. So that's something we might want to review. Studio use, we had a group in here today doing
Auditions.
auditions for the play.
I think they were filming something. They were using it to do auditions.
Okay,
Great.
we're doing auditions, and Kay Chandler is coming in tomorrow to do some interviews for the mayor's show. She booked it for 2 hours. It's not on the list here, but you might have noticed that we cleaned out the radio room. We only had one radio show going on a Saturday, and it was Jorge, and he was basically plugging into the internet and broadcasting that. So he wasn't even doing a live show. So we wanted to recover the space. Could be a good space for our new station manager. And we can hook up the radio here on the control room board there. So we'll get there. Right now we're down on the radio. Jorge knows, and we'll get it together this summer. And I'll be giving another Art of Cinema lecture in a couple of weeks, August 13th. I gave the first one and it was very well received. I did it the second time and we had a full house. And I got excited, so I had fun. And that's, you know, working on putting together the right clips in the right order is a pleasure for me. So the next one is August 13th. It's going to be on how cinema can capture the invisible. You might like that. Ghosts. And you know, we had 10 people come the first one, 15 the second. If they all are interested, we have a full house. We can't seat. But this is the driving logic for becoming a member, because members get priority seating. And it's already worked. We've gotten 3 members out of the screenings. And of course, if I expect the first one to be a full house, I'll certainly do a second. But if it comes to do a third, we might start to explore taking these off-site and getting a space where we could have 50 people. And I have a third one already prepared for October. That one's about what conquers all. So that's my report. Thank you for coming. If anybody has any questions or you want to chat with Tony, this is your moment. You don't have to stay after this unless you're curious to see how we function.
You have any questions for me? What I'm doing? No.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Good.
You know, I'd like to hear about the outreach and how you want to get new members. That's a great idea.
So the first thing I did was I am basically relaunching the website, redesigning it so that it's a lot more friendly and a lot more interactive. Before it was like a regular website, but it didn't really showcase the actual stuff, which was the videos. So they're all on there right now.
Oh, cool.
But I'm looking to streamline, create a system where people can become members, but where it's easier, as easy as possible, so that people can be informed, they can go to the website, they can get an interactive experience and sign up right there, as well as donate to the program. And as far as attracting actual memberships and interns, what I have is right now I'm working with one of the interns so they can get some experience in creating an ad, kind of like similar to a PSA they did before I got here, but a lot more, I guess you could say, higher in production value. And it's going to basically showcase in segments the different kind of people that would really like it here. One would be maybe a creative type who can make use of the equipment to make their own shows. Another would be the young journalist, college kind of kid, who wants to come maybe use the studio to do a little newsreel or cover certain events. And the third would be high school kids that just want to make films and need a hand. And those workstations are there. They can take advantage of them. They can use them. And that's the plan I have right off the bat to get new members in here, young members. And then finally, as far as businesses, I think that you gotta get the message across to the community and the businesses that PCA is a very valuable asset to the city. And we can do that by somehow rewarding a business, obviously with airtime, but getting them to be proud of being supporters of PSA, maybe like a decal on their front windows, proud business supporter of PSA, stuff like that. And as well as increasing the base membership, the championship membership, that's what we were talking about. If we can showcase the value of PSA to the community,
PCA.
a lot of, sorry, I was confusing with public service announcement. Sorry about that. No, if we can showcase the value of it efficiently, I think a lot of people will be on board to just donate. People that are afraid of cameras, that see that and are like, oh, they don't want to have anything to do with it. But they would see the value in the station itself, and then they would become championship members and donate, $30 every year to keep it alive, help keep it alive. That's just like right off the top. There's a whole bunch. I'm writing it out in a little bit of a plan that I'll give it to him.
So can I make a suggestion? When you try to run over that mistake and he corrects you, just say, I'm just testing to make sure you're paying attention.
Make sure you're paying attention. And,
Especially with Cindy.
Do you want to kind of explain how you've migrated to a different Facebook page. And why?
Well, I mean,
We had two.
you have, and there's still two pages. I mean, we can still utilize both. One of them is a friend page. See, a friend page is something where you would have to add a friend every single time to increase the size of that page. Now, the benefit of a friend page is that more people see what you post. The problem with it is that if Facebook were to ever find out that it's not a real person, they'll delete the account. So the like page itself, well, it's rare, but you never know. But the like page itself is what the actual page should be, a like page. People see it, they see what's going on, they can just hit the like button, and the page is liked after that. And then that's what you want to use, because then you can launch Facebook advertising campaigns that will, for instance, like let's say you have an event and you wanted to post something on Facebook. What you could do is launch a Facebook advertising campaign that shows that particular post or event to a certain kind of people in the city of Petaluma, etc., etc. It'll be in their little feed, and that's what a like page allows you to do. It allows you to be specific towards who you want to reach.
You know, speaking of social media, how are your feelings on other social media outlets like Twitter, Instagram, some Pinterest?
I think Instagram is very, very important. I think Instagram is very important because it's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And it's one of the only ones that isn't limited yet. Facebook, like a like page limits, when you post something, if you don't pay or use certain strategies, at first it only shows it to like I think 1.2% of likers, so it's very limited. But Facebook advertising isn't too expensive, and you would only use it on certain things. And it's important because it allows you to target people that have absolutely nothing to do with your page, and then it'll show up in their news feeds even though they are not associated with PCA in any way. Twitter's nice, but I think Twitter's going down, and it's not as big anymore. Pinterest is great for sharing content, but at the same time I don't think it's as big. I think Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, especially YouTube, because that would allow people to interact, comment, showcase content. And as well, I'm also switching the comment system on the actual website to Facebook comments. So if they go from Facebook to an actual blog post or something that we launch, they can comment right then and there without having to log in or leave their email. People are, they're hesitant if they see, put your email in and everything to leave a comment. It's like it's a hassle. But if you go to a web page and you're logged into your Facebook and it's already right there, comment on it, they're much, much more likely to do so. But as far as social media, I think those would be the big three: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook like pages.
What about
Great.
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is more for like it's great if you want to target professionals and whatnot, and you post yourself there as an organization, but it's more towards I wouldn't say LinkedIn is as community based.
More recruiting value.
Yeah. But I would definitely put ourselves on LinkedIn, because then businesses in Petaluma will see that it exists, and if they want to help out, like I said, proud supporter of Petaluma Community Access.
Okay. Now, Zach was working on a new logo before he left. Where are we with that?
Well-
Zach didn't get anywhere. Tony came in with the idea.
Okay, so you're gonna
definitely
pick that up?
specialize in brand identities. Brand identity in a sense, not just a logo, but I mean, you get a feel for what Petaluma Community Access is, and you create an entire identity, a logo, as well as a message, a mission, etc., and then you unify it. That way, right now, I think you have a pretty good established brand identity. Though the colors, those shirts that you guys wore for the parade, I thought that was really well established, because I automatically think of PCA when I see those colors now.
What about the homegrown media?
Homegrown media, I like it. I like it because it feels true to what community access is. He provided me with a bunch of history of community access, what it is, and the importance of maintaining that particular message. So I definitely like homegrown media.
Nice.
Now all
Yeah.
we need is some stuff to go viral. Some
And
cat videos. Could we do some cat videos?
I think we can do anything. The thing with it is I think my mission is going to be to try to attract people that can create great content, but at the same time make sure that people who just want to make a little show are not intimidated. You got to keep it like balanced to make sure that everyone feels welcome. People should be coming to PCA feeling unafraid, or like, oh man, what if it's not good enough? No, we can't have that. We want it to be so that everyone knows that they can come and make a show or contribute, get their message across, all of that.
It's real exciting. It's very cool.
Seems like he's been here 8 years
I
already.
know. I know.
Thank you, sir.
And yeah, I guess I'd like to stay to watch how you all work.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay, so we gotta straighten out. Yeah.
Okay, no fighting, you guys.
No, no, you gotta
On
straighten
your
out.
good behavior.
You're the wild one.
Yeah, right.
Okay, do you have anything more
Go
for
ahead,
your
Marcia.
Nope,
report?
my report is.
Okay,
Kathy's.
thank you, John. Okay, we don't have any items on the consent calendar. We never have items on the consent calendar.
Theoretically, if we're approving, contracts or, and large purchases we're supposed to do, but we don't typically don't.
Okay, the only committee that I know of that met was the finance committee, and we're probably gonna take care of that
We
in
can-
the agenda item, or is there anything that you
No,
wanna
we could,
report
we
out on
could slide
that?
that over to the,
You might as well
Okay.
do it in the budget.
but there was the outreach and.
Oh, outreach and development, that's right, Marcia was there, and who else was there, were you there, Kathy?
No, Rachel.
Rachel, okay. Do you wanna report out on that?
Sure. It was mostly a brainstorming session for membership expanding and for us to meet and talk with Tony, and John was there as well, had some ideas about doing outreach, basic membership outreach. And we discussed those, and we discussed setting up the dinner for Zach, and we didn't come up with any specific recommendations that I remember other than to target or to emphasize basic membership outreach. And we had a few ideas about how to do that. We also discussed the members meeting and how to refresh that a little bit and maybe make some additions to the meeting, like we discussed the possibility of an auction or games of some kind, prizes, what do you call that thing?
Pictionary?
No, we're not going
Oh.
to fix it.
Where a raffle.
A raffle.
That's it. A raffle. We discussed that possibility as well. So, but we didn't come to any specific decisions. So we're still talking about that kind of thing.
Okay.
We got it on Tony's map, September 25th. He and I are gonna go take a look at the venue, and we're gonna try to turn it into a party where we can kind of point curious possible new members.
Can't you do bingo when you're in a nonprofit organization?
I don't know.
They used to have it on TV. I actually, never mind. We'll talk later.
Too much happening.
I do remember Diane telling us that there are some guidelines we need to follow around doing raffles as a nonprofit.
Oh, yeah, no, Marcel
Yeah.
was very sharp on that. She gave
Yeah.
us a whole printout on, because when you do that, it has to be fair and you have to validate the fairness. It's not just, because some people can have raffles and then staff family takes the car and drives off.
Right, I don't think you can.
Yeah, and I
have
think we're
anyone related
talking
to it.
we're leaning more toward games of some kind or maybe a series of small games or a series of games with small prizes.
You mean
and
like
that kind of
blackjack and poker? And
Yeah,
crap?
no,
Oh.
not.
Spin the ball.
We can have a casino night.
It's a kind of a risque room, so we've got lots of room to play with.
Yeah.
You know, the upstairs at Lagunitas. It's
Oh.
it's the 420 room.
Oh, right.
Oh boy. All right.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Thank you,
So
Marcia.
our member meeting, we got that room at Lagunitas?
Yes, the upstairs.
Oh, great.
The 420 room.
I know.
In there. Yeah.
All right.
That's it for me.
Okay.
That's it for committees.
Nothing under old business, and so item 11A under new business is discussion and possible action on the 2014-2015 annual budget. And John
Okay.
and Neil can take that away.
I'll start it, get it rolling. I sent you all the copy that we looked at last Friday. And as you recall, I postponed the delivery of this to the city so we could see if we got the Novato contract, we didn't. But now something else happened that's gonna shift the budget. We have a staffing search to undertake. And so I was kind of, there's a logic to this. I try to stay very safe with community access fees. I'd rather be lower than higher. And as you see, we did come in with almost 4,000 more than I anticipated or budgeted for. Of course, with the goal, the grants and donations, they're never as high as we target. With payroll, I do a thing where I figure out how many hours I need in the office, who's going to be doing them, what their pay rate is. I multiply that by 52. If I anticipate giving raises in January, I will have 2 annual pay rates, and I'll take 6 months of one, 6 months of the other, and that's my working budget. It is going to shift. We can talk about that in the next agenda item. The transition to replace somebody who was doing 3 jobs is kind of awesome. But I think it's a good opportunity to redefine ourselves, restructure the jobs. I'd almost like to let it, I don't want to scare you, but I'd like to let it fall apart and put it back together again. And when I say fall apart, it's like, what else can Tony do? Is he gifted with untangling all the spaghetti behind the monitors and the computers? Mario, if he can start teaching cameras, maybe he could move into kind of the station manager position. I want to give us a month to kind of see how we solve the problems, and then I'd have a better idea of who we're trying to hire. Zach was doing staff management, which was taking a load off me, which I can reassume. He was also doing member trainings, and he was really gifted at that. That's going to be a hard one to pull off. He would give a camera training, and it was booked for an hour, and then he'd still be there 2 hours, into the second hour, showing all the fine details of a camera, and the members really liked it. They really felt well treated. And he was also a wizard with the IT and repairing things, and constructing this, knowing how to fix a problem,
Yeah.
thinking out of the box.
He was in here the other day, soldering.
Yeah.
He was sabotaging what?
He was soldering right here.
Oh,
So that, I've got an envelope now of 160,000, which is actually less than we budgeted last fiscal year. We were at 161 for the payroll. So within that budget, things may move around based on whether we trim back how many hours we need for programming and add it to something else. The rest is pretty pro forma. I do have the full 12 months actual of what we spent, so I can compare, and it's pretty close to what I anticipated. The only really overage was shipping, because we spent $400 to send the City Hall equipment out overnight express to make sure it got there as fast as possible. And we'll probably we have the shipping coming back and the costs for the repair. So,
Do these numbers anticipate raises?
yes. Across the board, but like I say, I'm gonna be restructuring how many hours each person puts in, and Zach is gonna be giving us 5 or 6 hours, at least for 3 months, and we're talking now whether it's better, I think it's better he stays on payroll. He can hang on to the keys, he's in the books, and he doesn't have to figure out his own taxes.
I was going to say, how much are we going to charge him? Guess you answered that.
Yeah. So,
I'll move the budget.
Okay,
that's a second.
sure.
Any questions?
Is there any further discussion?
I had a couple of comments, if anybody was interested, or I could just send them to you later.
No, it's a good venue.
I'd like to see us budget for and actually get more revenue, maybe in the subjects of production services or sponsorships. I think, as you alluded to earlier, the grants revenue over the past few years has been woefully underperforming.
Mhm.
And I think as you and I spoke last week, I would really like to see the capital expenditures replenished and add maintenance coverage for critical components. I feel like I can help you with some of that.
Okay.
Then there's some minor things like we have 5 utilities accounts, and I saw that the shipping expense was separate from the repair. I would have put them in the repair, but there was a typo in column L, line 805. I think it's 12x, not 2x. But that doesn't quite offset how nice it was to have that column L. That was very handy.
Which one is 805 is storage? Oh, column L.
I didn't really shuffle it.
Yeah, it's, the column header's not on here, so you can't see L. You have to
Well,
look at it in actual.
I think L is the comments, and yeah, it's storage. $45 times 2, so it should be 12, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm sure they would be happy to take a discount
I
there.
usually pick up the comments, that's really helpful.
Well, that was very helpful, though.
You wanna just email those
Oh.
to him tomorrow?
Sure.
Yeah, and I would tap into the revenue, you know, if Katati comes through, that's another source of revenue.
Yeah, you know,
That isn't
we
in-
could
it
always
isn't
budget
factored
for
in.
and just try not to spend it if we come up short. But there's 2 arguments. One is if we don't budget for it, we'll never make it. The other one is we haven't been making the grant revenue. Why bother? So,
It's good to have a target, keeps me feeling guilty.
but I think I felt most strongly about the capital and the maintenance.
One of the things that I had mentioned at the finance committee meeting is that maybe we need to talk about developing sort of like a 5-year longer sort of capital equipment reserve plan or, a replacement plan, upgrade plan.
Yeah, Tim gave me the numbers for what's in the CapEx. We got 59,000. We have 35,000 in the Summit account, which was started with the money we got from selling the trailer. And what I did last year was I took 15,000 off the carryover and put it into that account, which I'll probably do again this year. So that will grow. That is not and I'm excited to find out what Katati could offer, because that's much more straightforward than the Novato. Especially if it's just make sure they have an operator there to get the show covered. And I would suggest that what you're saying, we might want to use the renewal of our PSA with the city. That's another PSA. In 5 years, as a way to, kind of as a target. We should have it for that, a larger sense of contingencies.
Yeah, I think having some of that addressed in going into that negotiation would be a very healthy idea.
Yeah. Because technology is changing and,
Well, we have this little episode with the Anycast. Fortunately, it was something that we could work around.
yeah.
There are things that, I walked through the room and I thought, what if that broke?
You just sort of have to, same thing happens in, my operation, right? My other job is, it's you budget certain items are going to have, let's say, a 7 to 10 year lifespan on them, and at some point it's not economical to keep them going.
Some
Or
of them
not-
are-
or
some
not
of them,
reliable.
as you know, we push to get 5,
Correct.
which doesn't help financially, but
We may want to leave this workaround in place. If it ever is needed right away.
Or have it
just
ready to go.
Switch over. Build in 2 options into the booth.
that's more of an operational discussion. But
Yeah.
my feelings on the budget were that the revenue, the maintenance, and the capex.
Okay.
I wanted to know how you reduced your cell phone account.
How
Did you
did
go
I
to
do
another
that?
carrier?
No.
Really?
They give you these renewal kind of benefits. You can get this toy or that toy, or you can take $10 off every bill for the next 2 years.
Nice.
That's what I did.
It's
cutthroat out there
They're
in the cell phone
amazing.
business. We saved $100 this year, a month, I think, on switching from one to the other.
Okay.
So
Okay,
we have
we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you, Neil, everybody who worked on this. And the next item under new business is 11B, discussion only of operational transition to new staff structure. John.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to that. It's my sense of kind of letting the place settle into a new form and explore new ways to rebuild it. Like I say, we can't replace Zach with one person. That's the other question. You know, and Zach grew up here, became who he was here, and we became who we were based on him. And that, I trust that. I mean, we did it, Cindy and I did it the first year. It was all kind of day to day. And we formalized the job descriptions, and I think we're in line for a new formalization. You know, what are our basic priorities? Serving the city, that's top, and Mario's been doing a great job with that. Serving the members that walk in the door, that's the one I'm most worried about. Who's going to teach them? Who's going to mentor them and kind of set the tone in the office as a creative, productive place, focused and not silly. I mean, it's not a waste of time. And then the IT, and that's probably the hardest to fill because you get somebody who's really qualified, and we couldn't pay them what they're worth, like Zach. But Zach is going to carry us for a couple months, and we'll see if we can develop some of those skills in-house. And I did boost the contracted employee, outside contractor. We need to bring in a specialist, for example. We have some room to move there. So,
And that eventually is where Zach will eventually fall under that category, correct?
yeah. Yeah, we'll give him a new job title, technical support or something like that. Keep him on 5 or 6 hours. You know, he and I talked about 3 months, October 1st, which is the beginning of the final quarter. After that, he would either formalize it as something ongoing, because he's in a learning curve down there, and he might find he has a very light load. He also said, you know, you have a crisis at City Hall, call me up, I'll work till midnight. And, you know, he's not going to abandon us. So, my basic sense of the structure is, bear with us, we're going to go on, we're going to wing it for a couple months and see what we learn. And that'll help us shape the next. And, you know, people could walk in, you know, Zach was a high school student, came in as an intern. So look what we got. And maybe we already have some of that already here. Let's grow it from within. And we have our teaching. You mentioned that you saw the check for Dan Vilava.
Mm-hmm.
He's back. He gave another Final Cut Pro class on Saturday, and he's a really smart guy, gentle soul. He's a resource too. I think we could strengthen our teaching arm with him if we needed to. But I don't know how that would work on the paper, so I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But I like to let the options, like Picasso says, I don't seek, I find.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, well, it kind of ties into the last item under new business, discussion only PCA board recruitment program. And I've been thinking about this because of our situations that we've fallen into recently with people wanting to go away, go to France. Rachel has some family issues that doesn't always allow her to be here, and it kind of puts the pressure on the rest of us. And my thought is that if we do some recruitment and bring in more people, then we can avoid that in the future and not, make people feel bad.
Oh, you love it.
We love you, Neil. And we've had some really good ideas in the past, but we've never really executed those ideas. And I know John had a little shopping list at one point of possibilities. I think, what meeting was it, Marcia? We were brainstorming community leaders. I don't even remember.
Probably
Was it our
the-
retreat?
Yeah,
What was it?
yeah.
One
For
of those
the-
meetings.
for the
But we were-
fundraising.
We were coming up with some really good stuff, and then we kind of lost our steam with that. So, and then when you go back to school, we're gonna be faced again with the same thing, and we don't want to lose you, but we don't want to have you feel pressured to be here when.
Well, just the next year or so is going to be it's going to be a difficult time for me to consistently be available
Yeah.
to the board.
Right.
Not that I don't want to support PCA anymore.
No, we know that, and that's why I've been trying to think of how we can avoid, you know, the pressures of trying to get a quorum here. So, maybe this is about us getting a nominating committee together and meeting together. And I don't know how the rest of you are going to help with that. The recruitment isn't just all on the nominating committee. It's really the responsibility of all members of the board to work on that. And whether it's each person come up with one person that maybe the nominating committee can ask for meetings with people. I don't know. I don't know how to do this.
Do we have any kind of specific guidelines of people that we're looking for, or that, because in some respects, do you want people with a certain kind of background, is people with a certain kind of knowledge, people with a certain kind of experience?
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that we keep coming back to, and we don't have anybody from the schools here. And now we have Tony talking about how he wants school participants making shows in here, and so we have to have a connection somewhere with the schools.
Matt's from the schools.
Yeah, well, he's big people school. we need to get
Think we could
need
take
to
a
get
look
into the
at
high
that.
schools and even the junior high schools here.
I think we can. The question is you know the connection with the, you know, is the senior administration going to support the instructors or whatever else in doing that? And that's what we need to basically build with Tony's assistance a campaign to try and rebuild those connections that we've lost.
And how do you want to approach people? Are you suggesting that we call up people we know and say, you know, PCA is looking for board members, we'd really like to talk to you, would you be interested, and that kind of thing? Or
Yeah, we need
do
some
you
kind
want
of a campaign.
something more formal where one person is talking to everybody and then you bring them to the, I don't know. That makes me
don't know.
reluctant to talk to people because I don't know, number one, exactly what we're looking for, and number two, whether I have any kind of authority to go around and go, hi,
Yeah,
want to be on the board?
yeah.
Well,
You know?
You still have to apply.
Yeah.
We
It's not like you can hire 'em.
we had a skills grid at one
Yeah, we
point
still
that
do.
Yeah, what do you have to offer? There's that one pager
yeah.
in the application.
right.
We have an info packet for people who are curious about it. We also have an election coming up, and I just realized that we have our next board meeting on the 19th, but we're supposed to send out the annual election notice. Do we need to have our candidates on that notice? Or just that we're having the election?
Can I see the calendar real quick? Thank you.
The other thing is, that, I mean, who would we really like to see sitting on this board? I mean, I'm on another board, and the recent additions to that board were based on people who had lots of money, who could give lots of money, and who knew people with lots of money. That's not our model here. We have our main source of dough, and it would, so the other thing is expertise in this area. Or the other thing I think is just bringing energy to it, an understanding, commitment of what we do. And there you could get, you know, people who are willing to learn, younger people who, you know, might have being on a board as part of their resume and part of, you know, what, what puts them forward, and that's part of why they're committed to it, because it's a good thing for them as well as for us. I'm kind of thinking we need to recruit new people, we need to recruit younger people, we need to recruit people with energy and understanding of what we do here. And I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, going to the schools, have we ever had a young person on the board? I assume you have to be 18 to be on a board.
Mm-hmm. 18 is the limit.
So somebody from the JC, somebody from going to college, or maybe, I don't know.
Well, I still think, making it, we're doing an advanced or actually a first sort of advanced production studio class, not studio, field production advanced class this fall at Petaluma, which we haven't done in many, many years. So they're advancing the level of students that we
At
have
the JC.
At the JC. And there's been a lot of significant investment in new equipment that we've put in towards 4K and other higher end video that is coming into the future. So that never hurts to continually recruit with that. And I think we've had a pattern in PCA to go over at least once a semester, making a contact with that class and talking about what we can offer. Maybe we approach it differently, or have other things that we use direct to the students. But then there's also some ideas, like I know annually at the junior college campus we hold a Sonoma County High School Film Festival. So there's a coordinator of that. And that might be something that we want to look at as a different angle, is going towards the high school production teachers that are guiding the students creating video and film works.
Yeah, we've gone to the schools, high schools and the JCs. We have more success at the JC. They're more self-motivated. But we've gone and made our pitch. We showed our equipment, and the last 2 visits, when Zach and Thomas went over, we had 2 or 3 kids come over and become members right away. But that's attracting users and creative people. I almost think the profile that when you're looking for board members is somebody wants to get into government. Somebody wants to get into, the official structures of city governance. This is a good training ground for working with other people in a community-based situation. I don't think that the film students are going to say, I don't want to sit in another meeting, I want to go make movies. But somebody who's looking at getting on city council, this is a stepping stone.
Boy, I've been a good
Yeah.
candidate.
Yeah, I think he's definitely right on that. He's definitely
Right.
someone who wants to have experience working with a team of people, trying to something community oriented.
Yeah.
People who want to make films are going to want to make films.
Yeah.
I-
I've got
Would
some,
it,
I've got
would
a
it
good
be
candidate.
beneficial to make an approach at the chamber or the downtown association?
Yeah, definitely. I will intend to take Tony over to the downtown meetings and introduce him to the business community, plug him in. And
Well, what
So
about,
maybe also, like the Rotary groups.
well,
Yeah.
Kiwanis and stuff like that, you mean?
I'm still thinking that it would be worth to go to the school board meeting and, I don't know, maybe speak at public comment.
yeah, that's a good idea.
I would like to see somebody influential. I mean, a student, yeah, that would be great, but I don't think we're looking for producers. We're looking for people who are connected to the community and who are the movers and shakers that can help us move our program.
Well, I was thinking trying to get if we could get a school board support,
Right.
to get some of the instructor, maybe one of the high schools or something like that, to come participate in the board. That would be an ideal candidate to me more than.
Yes, because then you have a solid connection with somebody involved with education.
So we're talking an approach of each one of us talking to people and encouraging them to apply, and then
Well, I-
looking at it that way.
Reviewing the calendar, the nominating committee has to meet no later than August 18th, because the expectation is that they would recommend their list of nominees to the board meeting on the 19th. So I would like to see everybody just kind of like think this through a little bit, and we need to schedule a nominating committee meeting, which I can't go to.
You can't go to.
Is that because you're gonna be running?
She's hoping to be one of them.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
who's on our nominating committee?
Yeah.
I hope you're hoping.
I mean, you can tell me right now if you don't want me, and I'll come to the nominating
We
committee.
can't, there isn't an action
Well,
item
we
here.
got three powerful drivers right there. Matt, no, nominating is Rachel, Marcia, and Kathy.
But it would be nice if the nominating committee had something to work with instead of sitting there on the 18th or before and brainstorming it themselves and having to go out and interview people. I mean,
Do we have to have, I heard that question asked before, but I didn't hear the answer. Do we have to have those names to send out for the mailing?
no, not for the
The mailing is
mailing
just,
is
we are
just
having
like
an
a
election,
notice.
if you're interested, this is how you can.
Okay,
right,
And it puts it on the map.
right.
Then we have a press release that recommends our.
Okay.
Right. On September 12th, when the ballots are mailed out, that's when the candidate statements and the will go out, and the recommendations from the board. Or not.
Does the membership know about, I mean, this upcoming election, and they're out there gathering their signatures now, or?
No, that's
No,
the
that's-
notice that John was just talking about.
Yeah,
That's
that's
going
all right.
out
Okay.
on the 15th of August.
Are there particular people in the membership that we know of that might be good candidates that we could do a personal contact?
I've got one of them. He would have been here tonight if he didn't
If you
have
don't,
to give me.
me.
Okay.
nice.
Thank you.
I have somebody in mind who's very interested in being on the board, full of life. Mark Jaramillo. You might know him. He's worked with the crew on the parades. He's done some. He's in one of the cutouts.
Oh.
He's the one being interviewed, and he did a really kind of comical thing with some interns where he came in here and did a. He's very interested, and he's a bright, enthusiastic person. The thing is, we need to have 3 nominees on the 18th, and maybe we could do just the 3 seats we're trying to fill are Cindy, Matt, and Neil. So, you gonna run again? Yes, Cindy.
Yes, I guess I'm running again.
I think all 3 of us are, but we.
No, I don't know if Matt.
I think I'm
is.
gonna step out for just, because I'm pretty much gonna be out of pocket for about 6 months.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that if later on there's an opportunity, there'll be one to vote me back
We'll
in.
appoint you
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
We can always appoint you, and you know,
I'm going to apply to be
you
appointed.
can always resign anytime. So it's not like
Low-key politics.
it anchors us to have somebody on this routine rhythm. So we do need to find one more nominee, and
Well, actually, what I could do is I could step back and be appointed
if we
and
had,
do it year by year because I have a situation at home that could explode on me at any moment that I would end up having to resign, and
Well, these-
I don't want to do that, but
yeah, no, that's a legitimate. And then there's also somebody who isn't appointed could say, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and go for the election. So,
But they can't be in the nominating committee.
and they are.
This crowd's getting small quick.
actually I could be on the nominating committee if I did that.
Yeah.
And then we
If you didn't run.
recruit more nominees and
Exactly.
and enlarge the board, not enhance the board, enlarge the board.
We have an obligation.
And
to have,
it would also be an easy win for them if we did it that way.
we have an obligation to have 3 names on the ballot, and then anybody who's not nominated by our committee can get on the ballot by getting their petition signed by other members. But I don't think we have that kind of membership right now. I don't sense anybody fighting to get in. But
No real,
Mark is very interested and really regretted he couldn't be here tonight. He had a previous engagement. So,
what about non-members who might want to apply, then do
They
they
would-
need to be
Be a
members
member.
first?
yeah, that's an easy one
Okay,
to solve.
so-
And, there is something about, for appointees, they're supposed to come to 1 or 2 meetings and then meet with one of you off-site or something before. But we're very welcoming, so that's not a hard process. So, Cindy, you need to make your decision on that. Not now, but if.
No, I mean, I didn't even think about that before. What I just suggested makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't make any difference to me what label you put on me here.
Yeah. We also take advantage of this cycle to reappoint somebody who was appointed in May or some odd month that we can forget.
Yes, we're gonna reappoint them and such.
Yeah. We get it all straight.
So we could basically appoint Cindy before or reappoint Cindy before the,
No, Cindy's is on the board in her seat until the
Yeah,
October.
the October meeting's gonna be the big musical chair thing. The election
Okay.
will happen at the end of September, or the first. Yeah,
Yes.
and then the October 3rd Tuesday, we will make appointments, select our executive committee.
Okay, let's try.
Do we have a plan?
We have a plan to canvass Petaluma for 2 more nominees.
Okay, and then after this meeting, we'll do a calendar drill and see what we can come up with for the nominating committee. I think we need to,
for the meeting.
yeah, I think we need to give it a couple of weeks, at least two or 3 weeks. Well, no, probably 2 weeks, so it'll give us time to.
Well, I have a feeling that Kathy and Marcia had these questions about how to do this, and maybe we could have a meeting next week to kind of get us
A
the
meeting-
campaign strategy
a
for
meeting
how to
to
recruit.
schedule the meeting. Okay.
No, a meeting to
Sound like Kaiser.
a meeting to kind of get up to speed on
Okay.
recruitment techniques.
Do we have vacancies? How many vacancies do we
Oh,
have?
we have a
We have 5
bylaws that
more.
allows or dictates
13.
13, so we're at 7, so we have
7.
plenty of room. We have an obligation to have 3 elected. And we also, we're supposed to have 2 from the school district. We
Here,
haven't had those.
I'll make it simple. There's 5 elected and 7 appointed. 8 appointed.
Yeah.
8 appointed, for a total of 13 max.
And how many are appointments now on the board?
We have 5 elected
1, 2.
and 2 appointments.
Rachel was elected, that's right.
And Rachel was elected and she's good till next year. And who else was elected? George's seat. So, yeah, we have 4 nominees we gotta get. If we're gonna have 5 elected,
Come on, we can do this.
Yeah, we-
Let's
yeah,
let's
okay.
be optimistic
oh,
here.
this is it. So George is out, so we gotta fill that seat. Missed that one. So we need
Okay.
1, 2, we need 3 more candidates to join Neil on our illustrious ballot. That's a little worrisome to me, because then they're all gonna end at the same time. Didn't we? We had this planned out so it would stagger itself, so we never lose a big chunk of board members in the same year. How did
I'm
we
doing
lose that?
everything I can.
No, you're cool. Don't rock the boat. How did this happen?
Okay, so anything else on this item? I think we're done. Unless there's something I missed.
I just have one question. When we're talking about grants, what are we doing in regards to grants? Or trying to get grants?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I did some research in local grants, and I devoted 2 years really to cultivating one that fizzled out. And the woman who was helping me get into it was disappointed like I was, but it was the advisory committee. So, help wanted. You got any ideas?
Do we know about
John.
all the grants out there that are potential for this type of media?
Oh,
Can we adjourn the meeting?
oh, yes,
Sorry, let's do that.
You
Okay.
tried already.
I'm
All right.
sorry.
okay.
Motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you
Night.
for being here.